Elderly woman struggled in the snow. No one expected this to happen. Kathy, an elderly woman, suffers from a terrible disease that is slowly robbing her of her freedom. She lives with her son, who does the best he can to take care of her, but due to her terrible health condition, the situation is quickly deteriorating. As her health condition worsens, one fateful morning, Kathy is forced to get an emergency procedure done to stop her from permanently losing one of the most important parts of her body. Unluckily for her, this is the same day that a massive snowstorm blankets the city in a wall of snow, leaving her and her son reeling, not knowing what to do or how to get the much-needed medical treatment. However, what would happen next would leave you totally speechless. In a small aging neighborhood stood a rundown house, its walls echoing years of wear and tear. This was the home of Kathy, an 80-year-old woman with a gentle spirit, and her son David, a devoted 50-year-old who had taken on the role of caretaker. Kathy's world had gradually darkened due to macular degeneration, a relentless condition that robbed her of her eyesight, leaving her increasingly dependent on David. David's eyes were a relentless cycle of work and caregiving. He worked a full-time job and often overtime, struggling to keep their heads above water. At home, he was Kathy's eyes, guiding her through the house, cooking their meals and managing her appointments. The toll on David was evident in his weary eyes and the stoop in his shoulders, but his love for his mother never wavered. Their house, once a symbol of family and warmth, had become a reflection of their hardships. The walls were thin, the insulation poor, and during the harsh winter months, the cold was an uninvited yet persistent guest. One particularly chilly evening, as David helped Kathy settle into her chair with a blanket, they discussed their situation. "I've turned the heat down to save on the bill, Mom. I know it's cold, but we need to stretch our funds." Kathy, her hands clasped over a warm blanket, nodded. "I understand, David. We've been through tough times before, but it's so hard to feel my hands and feet these days." "I'm sorry, Mom. I wish things were different. I'm trying to find more work, maybe something on weekends." Kathy's voice was tinged with concern. "You're already doing so much, David. I hate that you have to work so hard because of me." "It's not your fault, Mom. We're in this together. I just wish I could do more to make things comfortable for you." Kathy sighed, a sound that carried both love and sorrow. "You're doing everything you can. This disease has taken so much from us, I feel like I'm a burden to you." "Never say that, Mom. You're not a burden. You took care of me when I was a child, now it's my turn to take care of you." The conversation lingered in the cold room, a poignant reminder of their struggles. Despite the challenges, their bond remained unbreakable, a testament to the strength of familial love. As the conversation in the chilly room continued, David's attention turned toward his mother's health, specifically her fading eyesight. "How's your vision in your left eye, Mom? Is it holding up?" Kathy paused, a faint hesitation in her voice. "It's all right, David. No worse than before." David knew better. He had observed Kathy struggling with her daily tasks, her frustration growing as her world dimmed. Reading, once her favorite pastime, had become a task she avoided, a stark reminder of her fading sight. "Mom, I can see you're having trouble. Please be honest with me." Kathy sighed, the weight of her struggle evident in her voice. "It's getting harder, David. I can barely see the words in my books now. Everything's so blurred." David's heart sank. Just a year earlier, they'd faced the traumatic loss of her right eye to macular degeneration. Now her left eye, her only window to the world, was betraying her too. "Mom, we can't let it get worse. Remember the doctor mentioned special injections for your left eye? They could help slow down the deterioration." Kathy's voice was laced with a mixture of fear and resignation. "But David, the cost. We can barely afford our bills as is." "I know, Mom, but we can't put a price on your sight. I'll find a way. Maybe there are programs or assistance we can apply for." Kathy reached out, her hands searching for David's in the dim light. "I don't want to be a bigger burden, David. You're already doing so much." "Mom, you've never been a burden. I want you to see, to enjoy your books again, to have some quality of life. I'll do whatever it takes." The resolve in David's voice was unwavering, his determination to help his mother clear. The thought of Kathy losing her vision completely was unbearable. He knew the road ahead would be challenging, but he was prepared to face any obstacle to preserve his mother's remaining sight. Their conversation, a blend of concern and hope, ended with a plan to seek medical advice the following day. David's commitment to his mother's well-being was a beacon of hope in the face of their adversity, a promise that he would fight alongside her every step of the way. The conversation between Kathy and David took a more serious turn as they faced the harsh reality of their financial situation. "David, we just can't afford the eye treatment. If we go for it, we might not be able to pay for food, the mortgage, or even heating. We could starve or freeze." "Mom, your sight is more important. I can't just watch you lose it without doing anything. I'll figure out the finances." "But David, you're already stretched thin. Working another job, you'll run yourself into the ground. I'd rather lose my sight than see you destroy yourself over this." "Mom, I can't accept that. I can't just sit back and watch you go blind. You mean everything to me. If a second job is what it takes, then that's what I'll do." The room was filled with a tense silence as they both grappled with the situation. David, I can't let you do this, it's too much. It's not too much, Mom. You've always been there for me, now it's my turn to be there for you. We'll make it work. I'll make it work. Kathy looked into her son's eyes, seeing the unwavering resolve that had always been a part of his character. David, I don't know what to say, you're sacrificing so much. There's nothing to say, Mom. We're going to get you that treatment. I'll start looking for extra work tomorrow. We'll find a way to manage the rest. Kathy's eyes welled up with tears of worry and gratitude. David, I'm so blessed to have you as my son. Thank you. David reached out, squeezing her hand reassuringly. We'll get through this, Mom, together. With that, they concluded their conversation with a plan in place. Despite the daunting challenges ahead, David's resolve to help his mother provided a glimmer of hope in their difficult circumstances. Kathy, while concerned about the toll on her son, felt a deep sense of gratitude for his unwavering support and love. The following morning, David and Kathy faced yet another challenge. A massive snowstorm had swept through overnight, blanketing their neighborhood with over 2 feet of snow. The task of shoveling the walkway to the car, clearing the snow around it, and digging out the driveway seemed monumental. Despite his age and the physical strain it entailed, David knew they couldn't miss Kathy's doctor appointment. So he bundled up and stepped into the cold, his breath visible in the frigid air. The shovel felt heavy in his hands, each scoop of snow a testament to his dedication to his mother. I have to clear the way first, Mom. It might take a while, but I'll get us there. Be careful, David. Don't overexert yourself, Kathy said from the window. As David worked tirelessly, the snow seemed endless. His back ached and his arms grew heavy, but he persisted. After what felt like hours, he finally cleared a path. Exhausted but determined, he then carefully helped Kathy in her wheelchair into the car, ensuring she was warm and secure. The drive to the doctor's office was treacherous. The streets were covered in snow and ice, making every turn and stop a nerve-wracking ordeal. David's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, his focus unwavering. David, maybe we should have rescheduled. It's too dangerous. We can't delay your treatment, Mom. I'll get us there safely, just a bit more to go. Kathy sat quietly, her concern for David's well-being mingling with the appreciation for his efforts. The journey was slow and fraught with challenges, but David's careful driving eventually got them to the doctor's office. Upon their arrival, Kathy let out a sigh of relief, her gratitude for his son's perseverance shining through her worried expression. Thank you, David. I don't know what I'd do without you. We're in this together, Mom. Let's go get you that treatment, David said. The ordeal of getting to the doctor's office was a stark reminder of the struggles they faced daily, yet it also highlighted the strength of their bond and the lengths which David would go to ensure his mother's well-being. Dr. Joseph Ginson of Grand Rapids Ophthalmology, understanding the urgency of Kathy's situation, had made a rare exception to open his clinic on a Sunday. He was well aware that Kathy's condition was critical and that delaying her treatment even by a day could result in the loss of her remaining eye. Aware of the challenges posed by the heavy snowfall and the fact that the parking lot wouldn't be plowed on a weekend, Dr. Ginson prepared himself to assist Kathy and David in any way he could. He'd always believed in going the extra mile for his patients, and today was no exception. As David and Kathy struggled through the snow-covered parking lot, Dr. Ginson spotted them through the window of his clinic. He quickly put on his coat and gloves, grabbed a shovel, and made his way outside. David, Kathy, I'm so glad you made it. Let me help you, he said. David, surprised and relieved to see the doctor himself coming to their aid, greeted him gratefully. Dr. Ginson, thank you for coming out to help. We weren't sure how we'd manage. Dr. Ginson, with a warm and reassuring smile, started to shovel a path for them. I couldn't let you face this alone. Kathy needs this treatment, and it's my duty to make sure she gets it. As Dr. Ginson attempted to shovel a path through the thick blanket of snow, it became apparent the task was too daunting. The snow was too deep, and clearing a path would take much longer than they had. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Dr. Ginson quickly formulated a new plan. Being young, strong, and in excellent physical shape due to his regular gym workouts and weightlifting routine, he was more than capable of handling the situation physically. This isn't working. We need a quicker solution. Without further ado, Dr. Ginson turned to Kathy and David. Kathy, I'm going to carry you to the office. It's the fastest way. David, you can follow us in the wheelchair. David looked at the doctor, his eyes wide with surprise and gratitude. Are you sure, doctor? It's quite a distance. Absolutely. I'm used to heavy lifting and we don't have time to waste. With great care, Dr. Ginson lifted Kathy from her wheelchair. She was taken aback by his strength and the ease with which he carried her. He then proceeded to walk through the deep snow, his steps steady and confident, carrying Kathy securely in his arms. Kathy, though initially startled by the situation, felt a wave of relief and gratitude wash over her. She was in good hands. Thank you, doctor. I can't believe you're doing this. All in a day's work. The most important thing is getting you the treatment you need. The snow, deep and unyielding, posed a formidable challenge even for Dr. Joseph Ginson. In some parts, it reached almost 3 feet, creating a landscape more suited for a winter expedition than a walk to the doctor's office. As he lifted Kathy and began his trek, each step was a battle against the snow's resistance. Dr. Ginzin, though physically strong and well-conditioned, found the journey increasingly arduous. The snow's depth tested his balance and strength, threatening to throw him off with each step. His morning workout, usually a source of energy, now contributed to his growing fatigue. Holding Kathy, he maintained a calm and composed exterior, masking the intense effort it took to navigate through the snow. Kathy, unaware of the struggle Dr. Ginzin was facing, felt a mix of gratitude and concern. "Doctor, are you sure this is okay? It looks very difficult." Dr. Ginzin, panting slightly, said, "We're almost there, Kathy. Don't worry about me. I got you." David, following with a wheelchair, watched in awe. The doctor's determination and strength were remarkable. Despite the challenging conditions, Dr. Ginzin pressed on, his commitment unwavering. As they finally reached the door of the clinic, Dr. Ginzin carefully set Kathy down. He was breathing heavily, his face flushed from the exertion, but he managed a smile of relief. "Doctor, that was incredible. I can't believe you carried her all that way through the snow. You're stronger than you look." Dr. Ginzin was catching his breath. "Thank you, David. It was quite a workout, but we made it. That's what matters." Kathy, now safely back in her wheelchair, looked up at the doctor with immense appreciation. "Dr. Ginzin, I can't thank you enough. You went above and beyond for me today. You're not just a great doctor, you're a wonderful human being." "It's all part of the job, Kathy. I'm just glad I could help. Now let's focus on your treatment." As they entered the clinic, Kathy and David were not only filled with gratitude for the medical care they were about to receive, but also deeply moved by the extraordinary effort and kindness Dr. Ginzin had shown. His strength, both physical and of character, had turned a potentially impossible situation into a story of resilience and compassion. After Dr. Ginzin administered Kathy's eye treatment, which went smoothly and took less than an hour, the trio prepared to leave the clinic. The atmosphere was one of relief and gratitude, with Kathy feeling hopeful about preserving her remaining vision. As they approached the front door, ready for another challenging trek through the snow, they were surprised to see that the parking lot was now completely plowed. The once formidable blanket of snow had been cleared, revealing a path easily accessible for Kathy's wheelchair. "Look at this, they plowed the parking lot." Kathy, still adjusting to the light after her treatment, turned towards the window in surprise. "Really? After all that effort we went through?" Dr. Ginzin, looking out at the cleared parking lot, let out a laugh. "It seems the city's ordinance worked faster than we thought. They must have plowed it while we were inside." David shook his head, a mix of frustration and amusement in his voice. "I can't believe this. If only they'd come an hour earlier, Doctor, you wouldn't have had to carry Mom through the snow." "Well, it was definitely an unexpected workout for me, but in the end what matters is we got Kathy here safely and she received her treatment." Kathy smiled, her heart filled with gratitude and a touch of amusement at the irony of the situation. "It's like they say, timing is everything, but I'm just grateful for your help, Doctor. Today could have gone very differently without your kindness." "I'm just glad I could be there for you, Kathy. And remember, your vision is the most important thing. We did what we had to do." The conversation ended with laughter, lightening the mood after a morning filled with challenges. Despite the initial annoyance at the timing of the snowplow, they recognized that the most crucial outcome was Kathy receiving her much-needed treatment. As they made their way back to the car, this time with ease, the sense of accomplishment and relief was palpable. The day had been a testament to Dr. Ginzin's altruism and dedication, and to the resilience and strength of the human spirit. Kathy's treatment, successful and timely, was a beacon of hope in her ongoing battle with macular degeneration, all thanks to the doctor's good nature and selfless actions. As David and Kathy made their way back home, the atmosphere in the car was filled with a sense of relief and gratitude. The challenges of the day had been many, but they were returning with a successful outcome. Kathy had received her crucial eye treatment and her vision was preserved for now. The drive home was much smoother, with the roads now cleared of snow. Kathy, feeling a renewed sense of hope, couldn't help but express her joy and gratitude. "David, I can't tell you how relieved I feel. Dr. Ginzin was like an angel." "Mom, I'm just glad we got you the treatment we needed. It was a tough day, but we made it through together, and that's what matters." They arrived home, the familiar surroundings welcoming them back. As they settled in, the warmth of the house felt like a comforting embrace after the long, cold ordeal they had endured. Sitting together in the living room, they reflected on the day's events. The challenges, the kindness they'd experienced, and the successful outcome all contributed to a deeper appreciation of each other. If you enjoy heartwarming stories like this one, then subscribe to our channel for plenty more.